How should you peak for a 1 rep max? Watch this.
Next caller is Kevin from Nevada.
Kevin, how do we join that gang that you're representing? What is that? Dad gang? I don't know. I could be in a gang as a dad. What is that?
Yeah, that gang, like the best gang to be in, right, guys?
We have to be jumped in or what? How does that work?
What's happening, man? You got looks like you got a bunch of questions. So let's start with the most important ones so we can get at least answer those.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So for context, I do want to go into really quick. I'll save the thank you for the end because it might be too long. I actually have thank you for each of you, including Doug. So I'll save that to the end. But for context, I am 30 years old. I have 2 kids. And I personally have never started and even touched a barbell until I was 27 years old. More for the ignorance through like my whole family's generation is like, you're going to get hurt from that. That's all we knew. So until I found you guys, is when I actually did strength training with, barbell work. So now I am in the MAPS Powerlift. I love it because I found out, some of my friends have told me like to try and join some powerlifting meets. I don't want to do that yet, but I am on this peak phase. I just started it this week. And I was wondering, I know it says on the calendar to rest for a week, or it says a rest day on like the second half of that last week. And then I don't know when to attempt the 1 rep max, like the new 1 rep max. Do I wait a full week?
Yes.
I'll go with
Typically, yes.
Yes.
Typically, you wait a full week. Now, that doesn't mean you necessarily do nothing. Although I know a lot of lifters will do very little. But what you can do, and this is what I used to like to do whenever I would set myself up for an attempted PR, is I would definitely have that week off in terms of heavy training or hard training, and I would just go to the gym and practice technique. Yeah. That's all I would do. So I would go very lightweight.
That's
it.
And a lot of times what will happen is when you're practicing technique, you might feel it like that. I always personally could just know like, oh, today's going to be the day.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be times where you are planning a PR day and you're just not going to feel it. You're going to, first 135 warm up set is going to feel like a million pounds. And you're like, today's not the day you do that. And then other days.
I think it's a better way to do it.
That's how I like to have that a week scheduled as I'm not going to try and PR until this next week. And sometime in that time period, I'm kind of working on technique and I'm basing it off of how I feel in the warm up on if I'm going to try and get after it today.
That's it.
And so that to me is a better strategy than saying, hey, 5 days after the end of the program, then go hit your PR. Well, if you didn't get good night's sleep the night before, it's not a good strategy whatsoever. And maybe 3 days after, you're already well rested, well fed. The warm up weight is like coming up off the floor easy. Go get it. Yeah. So that's kind of how.
And one thing is for sure, you won't get weaker if you took a week off. That's not how strength doesn't go down that fast unless you get sick or there's other circumstances.
Got it. And yeah, that answers, I guess, one of my other questions of what light exercises, but it'll all be just the technique work.
I used to do foam rolling, mobility, and practice. I would practice the exercise. That'll always set me up very well.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And then now the diet part. I've just been on a maintenance like throughout this whole program. Never changed it one bit. I'm at like 27 to 2,900 calories a day. And for context on that, I'm a small guy. I'm 5'4", 149 pounds. So that amount of food for me is like, I've never ate that much in my life. I used to be at like 1,500, 1,600.
Awesome.
Wow, that's great.
Should I just stay there before I hit this or attempt the 1 rep, or do I now push a little bit more on the calories?
Oh yeah, push it. So I'll give you some. These are, by the way, these are little hacks. They're not going to like be the big game changers, but they will add something. So I would always say what?
You're going to boost his cholesterol.
Well, I wouldn't even. That's even a step further than what I'm going to say. I would go 48 hours before. I would bump your calories. So I would go up. You're at 2,700. I would eat closer to 3,100 calories. 48 hours before and stay consistent with that. Make sure 2 hours before the lift, you have an easily digestible, so something doesn't bloat you.
That's the important part. Yeah.
Easily digestible meal. I would also, do you drink coffee or take caffeine or pre-workout?
Pre-workout, I drink Celsius sometimes throughout the days.
Okay. I would wean yourself down caffeine for the week off. So let's say you have 400 milligrams of caffeine a day. I would get it down to 200 or less. Leading up to the day of, then the day of, go with your full dose. It'll hit you like a Mack truck, and you're going to feel like super powered from it. Look, those two things alone would typically get me a nice 5 to 10 pounds over what I would normally be able to do.
Got it. And then my last question, I think I already answered this for myself. I am looking to compete next year just because some of my friends have told me like the weight class that I could be in, it is pretty possible I might place. I don't know. I'm trying to hit like a 405 deadlift, 205 bench, and 375 squat. I don't know if that's even.
Holy shit.
Yeah, for your weight,
great,
bro, that's
man.
great.
What have you
good
done with your
numbers.
deadlift at 145 pounds? What have you hit?
Well, on the deadlift right now, I'm at 395.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you're strong. You're strong.
You're strong as hell.
Especially considering you just now really
Yeah,
got
you
into this
just
last couple of
started.
years.
Did you just started?
Yeah.
I just started. You mean MAPS powerlift, or you mean strength
No, just in
training?
general. You said 27. You said you're 30, right? You only been lifting for 2 or 3 years now?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
wow.
I never.
Yeah, bro, you're doing
Do you
good.
pull sumo?
No, conventional, just because I think that looks better.
Wow. And you pull conventional?
Agreed, bro.
Have you
Also,
tried
the social media
Good
thing?
call.
I don't want to.
Hey, listen, just for
Doesn't
fun.
count.
I know you didn't ask this question, but just for fun, typically when you're shorter in size, the sumo style typically gives you better leverage. So you might want to mess around with that, see what happens.
I like your idea though of doing conventional. by the way. Just so
Yeah,
you
as
know.
far as you can, bro.
Conventional looks sexy.
I tell
you know?
Lane-
I'm pro conventional.
I tell Lane all the time it doesn't count his deadlift stuff.
I'm sure he loves that.
So I am trying to see what I would max out at this year before I even try and do a meet next year. So I'm thinking, is it best to just keep it all squat, bench, deadlift in one day when I attempt this instead of trying to split it out?
Oh, like to mirror a competition?
I mean, you can. You're not literally training for a meet right now, so it's kind of like whatever. I don't think it's that necessary. And I think when you get ready for your first real meet, by the way, too, if I can encourage you to sign up sooner than later, you'll be happy because, and I know getting on stage is different than competing in a powerlifting meet, but part of you're going to want to just sign up and get through the process.
Yeah.
Is that first
So
one?
you know what to expect.
Yeah, what to expect, getting the nerves out, how I should eat before. There's a lot of things that you're going to need to figure out. And you'd rather get that out sooner than later anyways than try and time it all. Like, I'm going to get my strongest I've ever been in my life. And on top of that, this is going to be my first time ever doing an event. It's like, get the first event jitters out of the way of like, what's it like? I'm the new guy.
Take some of the pressure out of it.
Yeah,
too,
it does.
yeah.
That way, when you go in the second time, you've already got that out, and now so that would be my advice: is sooner than later.
I do like doing them all three on the same day though, because
That's just going to mirror the event.
Yeah, and get used to the feel of it. And to be honest with you, when you do each of them separately, there's always a question of which one do I do today, which one do I do tomorrow, which one do I do the day after. Mm-hmm. I would mirror the meet and do them in that order, and take a long break in between your maxes. So, I would do you start with your squat. I would wait, 20 minutes before attempting to go for my deadlift, and then same thing. And then my bench, you can maybe not rest as much, but I would give yourself like a couple hours to do all of them.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And now it brings me to another question. Adam, you brought up maybe sign up a little bit earlier than waiting till next year fall or something. I was planning on, because of what you guys have helped me understand with body composition change and just reverse dieting, I bought Split because I want to now achieve like the best aesthetic look I've ever had for the summer. I was planning on starting that January, just so it kind of reaches up until summer where you can go swim and you kind of show off what you got.
Yeah.
Is that going to hurt me and affects the strength to try and do that, then go back into powerlift?
No.
It'll only help you.
No,
Yeah. And honestly, right now, you just hearing your numbers already, you're already at strength. You're not going to go embarrass yourself. You're going to do well. Yeah. Whether you win or not your first time, who cares? I would sign up, go do it. No matter what you're programming right now, like, you're already strong enough in those lifts that you're going to go have a good experience. Whether you go win or not, I think you're going to have a good experience. And so I would go sign up for that no matter where I'm kind of at and what type of program I'm following, get that out of the way. And then when you're like, okay, now that I know what this is going to be like, you go, I'm going to pick this date. I'm going to follow the program 3 months before. And then you could really like dial it all in. And during that process, running Split to interrupt it in the middle is only
a good idea.
It's only going to help you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys.
Yep.
Now, I do want to do the thank you before I get off of here, if I can.
Sure.
And now this is to each of you. Before I even start the thank you though, I want to give context on this. I mentioned I'd never started strength training until 27 years old, again, from ignorance and really from embarrassment. My insecurity is being small. I hated even trying to walk into the gym. All I did was play basketball. But when I would pass the strength training part, I would see, of course, like I'm small, I'm a guy. I see girls like doing lifts that I'm like, there's no freaking way I can do this. So I'll just like walk by. Bench would always scare the crap out of me because I see, I'm like, what the hell? Like, what am I going to do? Like try and lift up that barbell. And if I like, I don't know, commit suicide with my neck, like I don't want to even do that. So all I knew was, do you guys know Mike Chang, Six Pack?
Yeah.
Mike Chang.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I do.
That's all I knew back then. So HIIT training, I would think I would have Mike Chang's aesthetic. Never would have that. I would much more have like of a Smurf body, if you could say. It did not look good. I'm short, so it did not look good. So here's what I did. I actually heard of you guys back in like 2016. I didn't really listen. I was just like, I was listening, but I didn't hear anything. Then I heard something about like, go to a trainer. I went to Lifetime Fitness because my ignorance is like, go to the most expensive gym. I'm probably going to definitely get results. I'm paying a lot. I went to this trainer. I told this trainer I want to look like Manny Pacquiao in like 6 months.
Wow.
Said, got it. I'll do it. He put me on this, like, I was already eating maybe 1,600 calories. He got me like 300 less calories a day, made me not eat carbs, told me when I go to the bathroom, just like be ready. It's going to be like liquid. I felt like crap. Wow. So I was traumatized. And again, now I was like 25 years old at the time, finally trying to do something else than basketball. Again, I only heard of you guys or started listening to you guys again because I was going to have my first kid, my son. And I was embarrassed internally. I would never feel proud of myself. I was embarrassed because I could barely even pick up my nephews like for a long period of time. So I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to be a dad that can't even pick up his own son. And here I am looking like I'm like an 8th grader. I look like I'm probably like Justin's kid. Like there's no way. I don't want to be like that. Now, I do want to thank you guys big time. This is the thank you. I've never been more proud of myself. And I never knew that I would even have this kind of feeling. Not only as being strong, like I feel super strong now. I've never thought at 30 is when I can even still continue to grow. And then as far as strength or doing this kind of training, I would post this on social media. I didn't know this would naturally, like, I've never met more friends. So I know Sal, you always mentioned like the gym space is probably the most friendly space. Yep. I've met more people because of this, never got more respect, never got more close to so many people that are like growth minded. Met so many other people that are parents trying to do the same damn thing. So it's crazy. And I want to thank you guys for that big time.
That's amazing, man.
I definitely want to say this. Now this has to go away from the fitness. Thank you. But I never realized what you guys would have done for me in my mindset is you guys helped me redefine these things. And these are important to me because my wife and I are kind of traumatized by hearing this so many times. We're like 24 years old, 25 years old back then. We would always hear, oh, just wait till you're 30. And you can start getting these nagging pains naturally, like walking up the steps, getting out of bed. You guys wipe that away. Like I've never felt more, again, in shape, don't have any of that crap going on. They always say, just wait till you guys have kids. And this means my wife and I never drink. But they would always tell us like, oh, just wait till you have kids. You guys are going to start wanting to drink. And I would hate hearing that, not being a parent. Now that I'm a parent, I'm like, you guys are freaking ridiculous. I think it's just probably their perspective on having kids. Sadly, I don't want to have any kind of perspective on that. I listen to you guys all the time. And it's so, awesome to be able to redefine and see validation that here's like 4 dads, including, Doug, that get to talk about like the positive impact, trying to be better husbands, better fathers. And it doesn't go into a negative space just because you all of a sudden become a parent. I want to mention this part is where I was very ambitious. So business was something that attracted me. Unfortunately, I know meeting mentors, potential mentors that make 6-7 figures has a heavy load on like, I'll listen to them. But one of the things that I've always heard was like, getting fat, getting out of shape, it's normal when you're in the prime time part of building a business. So I would always think like, okay, I don't have to worry about getting in shape till later. Luckily, again, you guys talk about how important it is to stay in shape, like how much that's going to help not only your body, but everything else. And then this is the one that always gets me emotional because anytime I have somebody that's about to be a parent that I know, I always want to mention, never listen to this, but I want to hear your guys' thing on this. One of the things the mentor told me, my previous mentor, when your kids are born up till about they're like 4 years old, you don't even have to worry about being there. Like, you don't have to worry about being present, being at these accomplishments, because they're too little, too young to even ever remember. So go hard and work hard and be ambitious, because they're not going to remember this. Never more have I been more thankful to hear you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, I would have done that. My son is 2.5 years old now, not trying to get emotional. My daughter is 3 months old, and I've been with them like 24/7. I've avoided trying to miss any little thing, because I didn't know, like, sorry to get emotional, guys. Damn, I didn't think I was going to freaking do this. But never more have I been more proud that I've been more present, rather than trying to chase the ambition that I do have. Like, I've been more patient on that. So I just want to say that. Now for the specifics, Adam, thank you for talking about your relationship with money before and after kids, because I can relate totally to that. I had a horrible relationship where I almost literally ignored my whole family because I was chasing the money for this big house, nice car, all that stuff. After kids, I've been way more patient. It's been like, we're going to get that, but home is being with them. It doesn't matter about the big ass house or the nice car. It's about, like, if they're there, that's home. Doesn't matter where it is. Sal, you mentioned it on like 2 episodes ago. You were talking about like your genuine admiration for kids when you had kids with your previous wife, and then you said you'd probably never have kids until you found out you're about to have a kid, and you're like, oh damn, I actually do want kids. I relate to that totally, because I've always wanted kids, even when we were super young, my wife and I. And never more have I been known or been more confident of like, yeah, I want to be a dad till now, because we have 2 kids. We have the boy and girl. We said no more, but there is like that itch. I'm like, damn, like I do want more kids. I know we agreed on like, no more, but I'm like,
do it.
And I freaking love them. I love them. So I'm trying not to, but I keep telling my wife just jokes here and there, like maybe we can have more. Justin, thank you for this, because your humility as far as being, when I used to listen to you guys the first time, I would always hear Adam and Sal talk like a lot, right? So I'd always be thinking like, dang, Justin is pretty quiet. I know he talks here and there, but I want to thank you for being like who you say you are. Not that Sal and Adam, you're not, but Justin, like when you say you really observe, sit back, and don't need to talk, like you really do that. It doesn't matter if you guys just had Jim Quick on, like it doesn't matter who the hell you guys have on the podcast. You genuinely like don't have that ego to have to pursue that. You have to have the spotlight. And I love that, because I feel like I'm like that. There was a time where I'm like, damn, maybe I have to change, and I do have to like talk a lot more. But you've helped me, revalidate that you don't have to be like that. And I want to say this, Justin, I'm going to try not to get emotional here, because I'm going to talk about my dad. You remind me the most about my dad, because you talk about being at your kids' games. You talk about how it is sometimes your kid has no idea how tired you are. Sometimes there was a time you mentioned you had to volunteer, and you basically became the main guy of volunteering to set up all this stuff. That was my dad, Mr. like do it all, be there all the time. And I didn't know at that time how special that was, until now. I freaking brag about my dad all the time, about like, I want to be like that because my dad was like that for me. And I would talk about all the time. He was at the basketball games. He was the one at the practice, like even trying to shove me, like, even trying to check me. And he's like, 60 years old doing that. And I just want to say, Justin, you always, every single time I hear about you talking about your son, it always brings back to me appreciating my dad more. So thank you for that. You. And then Doug, I know I can't see you, but I just have to say this. Ever since I've been hooked on you guys, any family or friend that has like reached out and been like, how the hell, like, is this legit? I wouldn't even show you 3 because it's like, kind of obvious. As host, I'm like, yeah, you guys better be fit, right? As hosts of fitness. I always talk about Doug because I'm like, okay, these guys are fit, but let me talk to you guys about, the behind the scenes, like the producer, like Doug, your Instagram, when I show the before after of like all the years you did it yourself, then you hooked, you followed Sal and did your journey of before after. And not only that, the retention after that, like every single family or friend that even like thinks about following you guys, they're like, oh shit, like where can I go buy their products, their programs? So thank you for that. And again, somebody just mentioned it on previous episodes ago. You definitely, Doug, just ruined the crap out of all the other podcasts I listen to, because it is true. The video and the audio, like I can't listen to any other podcast anymore because it's not the same. Like I can't, the quality, like when you guys talk about stuff, you guys actually show it. Can't thank you enough for that, because I didn't know how much of a little detail like that can ruin all the other great podcasts that I used to listen to. But sorry to take up all that time, you guys. I had to say that because it means a lot to me. I started in this late, but I feel like the youngest, the strongest I've ever been in my life. And then I feel like that correlation, not only for me, but to trying to be the best husband to my wife and the best father to my kids, is like, I owe it to you guys. So thank you for that.
God bless you, man. Listen, do you have Split?
Amazing to hear you, man.
Let's send you Split if you don't have it. And if you do, we'll send you Symmetry. That's another program I think you'd like.
I do have it, but I was thinking of if I bought Map Starter for my wife, can I get Map Starter for my wife?
Yeah, there you go. Done deal.
My wife has never worked out before.
Perfect.
And she wants to.
We'll send that to
perfect. We'll send it to you.
You got it, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it big time.
Thank you for the words,
Thanks
Kevin.
for the compliments. Thank you,
man.
Of course, thank you. All right.
That was nice.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
Yeah.
Got me choked up a little bit. You know what's funny about what he was saying? Not funny, but interesting. Boy, nothing is a more powerful self-reflective tool than having kids, huh?
Oh man!
As soon as you have your kids, it's like, okay, I got
hello mirrors.
Yeah, I got to do this.
That and the confidence that comes from building strength.
Yeah,
I mean,
the process, right? The whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And bro, I tell you what, he's strong. You're strong now, dude. How cool is that to most of your
Hella
life?
Strong.
To have felt weak, insecure, afraid to even go into the weight room, to have gone to a point where you could probably go compete in a powerlifting event and do well. That's
bro. He's at triple body weight, almost triple body weight deadlift. Very, very, very few people with years and years of training can hit that.
I can't triple my body weight.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's super impressive.